Well, hello there, naughty boys and girls. It is I, Disasterina! Welcome to the Tasty Earbits podcast. Here, we are all about the drag, the art, the trash, and the comedy. This episode, we're gonna take you to another magical world. Why? Because this one has too many global climate catastrophes, foreign wars, and entitled white people murdering the populace. No! So, I got some fancy freaks together and I asked them, what does fantasy mean to you? The answers I got will enthrall. Plus, funny skits, fantastical music, and extraordinary realms. Get your tumblers of mead ready because whenever you hear my name, and you'll hear it a lot in this episode, take a deep, gluttonous gulp. Drink and be merry. Get even more fucked up than this wretched world is, huh? Time to escape into fantasy.
So forget all that you see. It's not reality. It's just a fantasy.
Well, hello there, naughty Disasterina. It is I, ZWeRG. Whew. Hi, Dee. It's ZWeRG from Northern New Brunswick, Canada. And I'm very excited to be part of your podcast because you are my favorite queen. And my boyfriend, Ty, also thinks very highly of you. So this is very exciting and very fitting that it's the fantasy theme because everything I do as an artist is inspired by fantasy, whether it's drawing, painting, fashion design, drag, music. And I think that's because I'm not from this world. I think I'm always trying to capture a little taste or glimpse or grasp of where I truly come from, which is a fantasy land. And I think that's where we're going to go when we die. We're going to go back there. My name's ZWeRG. It's a German word. My ancestors, some of them were German Jews, and it means a dwarf. And I don't mean a little person. I didn't mean a little person by that. But I meant dwarves in terms of myths and legends, you know, diminutive in stature but tenacious warriors of superior pluck. It's about a championing of the underdog, very fantasy based. But for me, fantasy doesn't have to always just be wizards and dragons. It can be right in your backyard. Everybody has a magical story. It's all in how you tell the story. So I think I'm always looking for the magical in the mundane, the extraordinary in the ordinary, the supernatural in the natural. And I'm very pleased that, Disasterina, you have taken an interest in the little province that I'm from, which is New Brunswick, because most Americans don't know about New Brunswick. They've heard of Nova Scotia next door. But we always play second fiddle to them, musical pun intended. There's a lot of folk music here. Anyway, so most Americans think it's a town in New Jersey, which it is, but it's also a province, which is like a whole state. Not a big population, but more people than Wyoming and more people than North Dakota and more people than Vermont and more people than Alaska. Not that population is what matters, but it's a sizable amount of people. And I know you have some Swedish heritage and you're very interested in Viking history. And you knew about New Brunswick because it's speculated that the Vikings actually came here and that the true Vinland, the land of wine, was actually New Brunswick and not Newfoundland, and that they used the outpost of L'Anse aux Meadows in northern Newfoundland as just that, an outpost, a base to journey further south. They found butternut shells at the L'Anse aux Meadows site in northern Newfoundland, but they've never grown there. They've never grown north of New Brunswick. And where the butternuts grow, you also have wild-growing grapes. The way they told their sagas, people read the sagas and they think, is this fantasy or is this a history book? Well, I think it's a bit of both. They knew how to tell a story and make everyday life magical. And that's what I try to do. And I think, Disasterina, you're a master of this alchemy, where you take everyday objects and you transmute them. You manipulate them enough to transform them into something completely original. That's really exciting. So I'm looking for the fantasy in my backyard. My boyfriend and I, we live in a log cabin recording studio on a dirt road off a dirt road off a dirt road in the middle of New Brunswick in the woods with the bears and the moose and the raccoons. And it's a very magical place. So thank you again, Dee, and thank you for all your wonderful art, all the different media that you do. We all appreciate it very much. And I'm looking forward to the day we can meet you in person and I can get down there and eat your hair. I dare. Big love from the north.
Follow ZWeRG at ZWeRG_Eldon on Instagram, spelled ZWERG_ELDON.